I made like 100 today, but was hungry and looking real bummy today. You was bony and looking too funny today. I don't care, niggas still make change. Let's go.
What's going on, everybody? And welcome back to another episode of the Chatting with Cheeze podcast. I'm your host, Fat Cheeze, and y'all already know the motto: no gimmicks, only the real. Y'all know what I need y'all to do. I need y'all to smash that subscribe button. We on our way to 200 subscribers. I also need y'all to like and share the content, and let's go ahead and get right into it. So on Sunday, the Buffalo Bills ended the Kansas City Chiefs' perfect season by beating them 30-21. The Bills are currently 9-2. They handed the Chiefs their first loss. Like I said, they ended their undefeated season. So the question I got for everybody is, should Josh Allen be a dark horse in the MVP race? Now, I think earlier in the year, I said that Josh Allen was the favorite, should have been the favorite to win the MVP. And then, Lamar kind of had his surge and started to, elevate his game and took off. And Josh Allen kind of fell to the wayside. I think they lost they ended up losing to Houston. I don't know if they lost 2 in a row, but they lost a couple of games and they kind of fell to the wayside. So far, I had it being Lamar, heavy in the front, and I had Jared Goff. A lot of people wasn't mentioning Jared Goff, but I felt like Jared Goff should have been in the conversation for MVP due to the season that he was having. The Lions having a great season, number 1 seed in the NFC, and just been dominating everybody that they stepped on the field with. But last week, Jared Goff they played Houston Sunday night. He ended up throwing 5 interceptions. He ended up turning it over 5 times. So I kind of dialed it back on Jared Goff. I'm gonna be honest with you, and I'm only for all my Lamar fans out there. I'm saying I feel like Josh Allen should definitely be in the conversation for MVP. I mean, just look at what he's doing, and you got to factor in the simple fact that they just added Amari Cooper at the trade deadline. So before this, Josh Allen was doing all this basically with no number one wide receiver. Remember earlier in the season when I came on, I had my episode right before the season kicked off. I put Buffalo as my team that I felt in the AFC that was going to have a down year due to the fact that they lost a lot of key pieces, one of them being Stephon Diggs. I said I didn't know how Josh Allen in this offense would look without Stephon Diggs, that true number 1 receiver. They have went above expectations and beyond. For them to be sitting at 9-2 right now, they just defeated Patrick Mahomes and the undefeated Chiefs. And the way Josh Allen is playing, he had a huge game, making big plays. That scramble for a touchdown was huge. I mean, I think that broke the game wide open. I kind of felt as though the Bills had control of the game all the way up to that point. But that scramble broke the game wide open. Let me just read off Josh Allen's stats from that game for this past Sunday. He had 262 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception with an 83.5 QB rate. He added on with 55 rushing yards and 1 touchdown. Now, Josh Allen's season stats, he currently sits at 2,543 yards with 18 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. With rushing, he's at 316 yards with 5 touchdowns. Josh Allen went his first 7 games with 0 interceptions. That's awesome. Now, granted, this is Josh Allen's wide receiver core before adding Amari Cooper. Mind you, like I said a few minutes ago, they just added Amari Cooper at the trade deadline. This is the receiving core Josh Allen was working with before Amari Cooper. Khalil Shakir, Curtis Samuel, Mac Hollins, Dawson Knox at tight end, and Dalton Kincaid. You know what I'm saying? This is before adding Amari Cooper. He has them sitting at third. He has them sitting at the third best scoring offense in the NFL. You know what I'm saying? They kind of middle of the package as far as offense goes. And total offense, they're 14th. And passing offense, they're 12th. Red zone offense, 7th. Third down offense, 15th. But like I said, scoring offense, they're 3rd. So, I mean, they're getting the ball in the end zone. And like I said, for Josh Allen to be having this type of season after losing the number one stud in Stephon Diggs, Josh Allen should 100% be in the MVP conversation. I don't see how you can't put him in there. 6-game win streak. They have 8 games where the team has scored 30+ points. I mean, they just look outstanding. I picked the Kansas City Chiefs to come out of the AFC, but the way Buffalo look, if Buffalo can get that number one seed, if Buffalo can get that number one seed where the Super Bowl has to come through Buffalo, we know how cold it gets in Buffalo in December, in January, around playoff time. I think Buffalo could have a shot to come out of the AFC. I'm still going with Kansas City, but it wouldn't surprise me if Buffalo came out of the AFC. And the way Josh Allen has been playing out of his mind. The only thing to me that's been hindering Josh Allen is being able to beat Patrick Mahomes when it matters in the playoffs. But as far as everything else, I mean, Josh Allen, you could argue Josh Allen behind Patrick Mahomes is the second best quarterback in the NFL. Josh Allen is just that good, and I'm impressed. The biggest thing that I'm impressed by is the 18 touchdowns to only 5 interceptions. We know last year how turnover prone Josh Allen was, and I think that was due to maybe trying to force feed Stephon Diggs the ball a lot last year, but being able to, oh my bad, and his wide receivers, I forgot to mention also he was playing with a rookie in Keon Coleman. But back to what I was saying, I just had to throw that in with the wide receivers that he was playing with before adding Amari Cooper. But I think a lot of Josh Allen's turnovers last year came from trying to force feed the ball to Stephon Diggs. You know, they had them scenes and stuff on the sidelines, and, you know, he wanted to try to keep his guy happy. Now with him being able to spread the ball around and, you know what I'm saying, get all his guys involved, you're seeing what Josh Allen can do, you know what I'm saying, as you know what I'm saying, running the offense the way he wants. Josh Allen deserves to be in the MVP race. Lamar is having a phenomenal season. I'm not taking nothing away from Lamar. Lamar, I think, has answered all the questions about his throwing ability and everything like that. But when you watch Josh Allen play, just the thing that he's able to do with not only being able to run, but his throwing ability. Josh Allen can make every throw. He could throw it over the yard. And like I said, for him to have 18 touchdowns to 5 interceptions after being very turnover prone last year and them basically just getting the number one receiver 2 weeks ago, I mean, how can you not say he's not in the MVP race? How can you not say? Right now, I would still have Lamar nudging him a little bit, but we still got a lot of games left. If Buffalo can manage to get the number one seed in the AFC and Josh Allen continues to play the way that he's playing right now, I think you're gonna have an argument on your hands for MVP. Now Lamar is currently sitting at 2,876 yards, 25 touchdowns to 3 interceptions. That's outstanding for Lamar. That's what I'm saying. I mean, it's so hard. I mean, I want y'all to tell me who would y'all put as y'all MVP of the season right now. Lamar's having an outstanding season too. Not only that, he has 584 rush yards with two rushing touchdowns, but Josh Allen has 5 rushing touchdowns. It's hard. I think you can go 1A, 1B. Like I said, I felt like earlier in the season, I had Josh Allen as the clear-cut MVP, and then Lamar, they started out very slow at the beginning of the season, and then they picked it up and started getting it going, and Lamar has been having a fantastic season. I'm not mad at either or. I'm just saying that if Buffalo somehow manages to win the AFC, to be the number one seed in the AFC, and Josh Allen keeps playing the way that he's playing, I don't see in the world where you can deny, you know what I'm saying, giving Josh Allen that MVP. But like I said, Lamar's been outstanding as well. They're second in points per game. They're third in passing yards. And this is the guy that everybody, me included, said felt like he couldn't throw the ball consistently. He's showing you this year that he can do it. If I didn't feel like Lamar deserved an MVP last year, I'm gonna be honest with you. This year right here, his numbers are way better currently than his numbers was at this point in the season last year. But like I said, I feel like the way that Josh Allen is playing, the lack of weapons that he came into the season with until 2 weeks ago that when they acquired Amari Cooper, I just feel like they on a 6-game winning streak currently. They just knocked off the undefeated team in the Kansas City Chiefs. You know, Josh Allen had a phenomenal game. He had a big scramble that broke the game open and scored a touchdown. And I just feel like right now, Josh Allen, if you got Lamar up here, I think Josh Allen, he clipping at his heels right there. It's going to be a tight race coming down to the end. We just got to wait and see what happens. But right now, I would say Josh Allen should definitely be a dark horse to win MVP. Moving on. Also on Sunday, and this kind of blew me because I picked the opposite team, but the Denver Broncos blew out the Atlanta Falcons 38-6. Bo Nix had an amazing game. So I came up, I had a question that I asked myself, and I brought it back to y'all, and I wanted to ask y'all. And I know my Denver fans, I got a couple of Denver fans, shout out to my man Dave, that, man, you haven't said nothing about Denver. Denver, I'm giving y'all shine. So my question is, has Bo Nix been overlooked? I know a lot of hype has been around Jaden Daniels, which is well deserved. Jaden Daniels has been having a phenomenal rookie season. Phenomenal. Denver, I think y'all found y'all franchise quarterback. Bo Nix, and I'm gonna be honest, I had to go back and take a look. Bo Nix has had a very, very, very great season for the Denver Broncos. It's been flying under the radar, I think, because it's Denver and maybe a lot of people wasn't paying attention. I mean, I'm going to be honest, I was paying attention. I had a segment on Bo Nix in preseason, but I wasn't really paying attention. A lot of people gave Denver flack for taking Bo Nix 12th overall. Man, Bo Nix has had a phenomenal season for Denver. On Sunday, he threw for 307 yards, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. He had a 145 QB rate. Bo Nix stats on the season so far is 2,275 yards with 14 touchdowns to 6 interceptions. Rushing stats, 295. He has 4 rushing touchdowns as a rookie. Bo Nix has more total touchdowns than his rookie counterparts. Bo Nix currently sits at 19 total touchdowns, while Jaden Daniels is 14, Drake May is 10, and Caleb Williams is 9. If you're a Bear fan, you might want to cover your ears when you hear that. But Bo Nix has had a phenomenal season for Denver. I think Sean Payton redeemed himself after what went on last year, coming in, taking over. You know, Denver had another bad season last year. I don't think Sean Payton was all the way sold on Russell Wilson, and they went ahead and jumped out there and took Bo Nix 12th overall. I think a lot of people was kind of shocked by that or didn't understand why they took Bo Nix. Bo Nix was another one of those guys. I felt like he was in college forever. You know what I'm saying? He went from Auburn, then ended up transferring to Oregon. And, you know, the story goes on from there. But Bo Nix has had a phenomenal rookie season. I think Bo Nix needs to get his flowers. He needs to be mentioned. When you give Jaden Daniels all that praise that we have been giving him, which he deserves, I think Bo Nix got to be mentioned in that conversation as well. And I think Bo Nix should be mentioned in the Rookie of the Year conversation. I mean, look at the offensive stats for the Denver Broncos. They're 24th in total offense. They're 27th in passing offense. They're 22nd in scoring offense. They're 21st in red zone offense. They're 23rd in third down offense. So they're basically damn near at the bottom of every offensive stat that there is. And Bo Nix still has managed to have 14 touchdowns to 6 interceptions and 4 rushing touchdowns to go along with that. These are Bo Nix wide receivers. Other than Cortland Sutton, I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't know none of the back besides. I mean, I knew Trey Franklin, and I knew Marvin Mims, but this is the wide receiver core Bo Nix is playing with. Cortland Sutton, Devon Veal, Lil Jordan Humphrey, Marvin Mims Jr., and Troy Franklin. They're currently sitting at 6-5 with a chance to sneak into the back end of the playoffs. That's outstanding to me. And I understand Denver has a solid defense. I get it. Their defense is solid. But Bo Nix is playing some very good football, and I think he should be recognized for it because for a rookie, he's doing the main thing that you're supposed to do, which is he's not turning the ball over and putting his defense in bad positions. And also, he's using his legs and also his arm to put points on the board for this team. I love what I'm seeing. You see the poise. You could tell he's someone who was in college for a long time and developed this game. I love what I'm seeing from Bo Nix. Look at all their wins this season. I mean, have basically been blowouts when they have won. They beat the Bucks 26-7. They escaped from the Jets 10-9. They beat the Raiders 34-18. They beat the Saints 33-10. They beat the Panthers 28-14. They barely lost to the Chiefs by 2. They had the Chiefs on the ropes last week. They lost 16-14, and then they just blew the Falcons out 38-6. And I don't think nobody expected that. I picked the Falcons. The Falcons defense is a little shaky, but I mean, who would have thought that you would go in there and only put up 6 points? And Denver, the game was over at halftime. You know what I'm saying? Last year, they're 6-5 currently. Last year, they ended with an 8-9 record. So, I mean, just you see the difference. And I want to give a shout-out to Sean Payton because I was one of those people that gave Sean Payton a lot of flack last year about, the way that he was handling things with the Russell Wilson situation. And, you seen the screaming on the sideline and everything like that. I think he rebounded himself. This right here shows if you get a quarterback, when the coach and the quarterback go together like that and they mesh, this is what you get. I think Bo Nix should be in the Rookie of the Year conversation. I think when you mentioned Jaden Daniels and the great season that he's having, I think you could throw Bo Nix right in there with him. You know what I'm saying? You could throw him right in there with him. And I don't see how anybody can have any backlash towards that. I love what I'm seeing from Bo Nix. It's a chance that Denver could sneak into the back end of the playoffs. And with that defense, Denver is one of them teams you don't want to have to run into. If they can catch a little streak towards the end of the year and find a way to sneak into that back end, Denver is a team you don't want to have to see them come playoff time because that defense is that good and you have a rookie at quarterback, but he's seasoned. He's a seasoned rookie. You know what I'm saying? He's not making those critical turnovers or those critical, those critical mistakes to put his defense in a bad spot. I love what I'm seeing from Bo Nix. Keep it up. And I would love to see Denver find a way to sneak into the back end of the playoffs. And Denver Broncos country, I think y'all found a franchise quarterback. Seriously, I seriously mean that. I know it's been rough for a couple of years since Peyton, but I think y'all finally found y'all franchise quarterback in him the same way I feel like Washington found they franchise quarterback in Jaden Daniels. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm happy for him, but put some respect on Bo Nix's name. When we talk about all these other young guys, I've been hearing too much about Caleb Williams playing like garbage. I've been hearing too much praise on Jaden Daniels, and I ain't been hearing enough on Bo Nix. So Bo Nix on the Chatting with Cheeze pod, I'm going to show you your love on this episode. And all my Denver fans, shout out to my boy Dave. You know what I'm saying? Next. So on Friday night, I know everybody had to tune in because I tuned in. And I heard everybody talking about it. I rushed home. You know what I'm saying? And made sure I was in the house in front of the TV to watch. So on Friday night, it finally happened. Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. So I'm going to give my reaction to the fight and what I thought about it and how I really feel about it. So on Friday night, 60 million people watched live on Netflix. Jake Paul beat Mike Tyson in the 8 rounds of boxing. Mike Tyson, 58 years old. Jake Paul, 27. It is believed that Mike Tyson was paid $20 million. My thoughts on the fight, it was dumb. I mean, I'm trying to say it in the best. First of all, I didn't think it was real. I thought it was just a joke, you know what I'm saying, on that about the fight happening. But I just felt like, me personally being honest, Mike Tyson shouldn't have never been in that ring. Everybody knew Mike Tyson shouldn't have been in that ring. And shame on you if you really put money on thinking that Mike Tyson was going to be able to beat Jake Paul at 58 years old. Shame on you. Mike Tyson should have never been out there. I was saying it the whole time that I felt like Mike was going to take a dive. Now, he didn't take a dive by physically getting knocked out on TV. I felt like he took a dive by just not throwing any punches. He was a cone. He stood in the middle of the ring and just, I felt like if Jake Paul really wanted to apply pressure to him, I felt like he could, because it just looked like Mike didn't really want to be there. It was a payday. We all knew that. But what I'm going to need y'all to stop doing is, I'm going to need y'all to stop getting on Jake Paul. I mean, because whether you like what he's doing or not, you got some people that like it, some people that don't. 60 million people tuned in to watch this man fight a 58-year-old man. People could say, oh, it's because it's Mike Tyson or whatever the case may be. 60 million people, when this man fights, people watch. 60 million people sat in front of their TVs on a Friday night, and people was mad about it because I was one of them, on a Friday night, and watched this man box a 58-year-old man. You could say whatever you want about him. This man, to me, right now, he saved the sport of boxing is dying. Anytime you got people that's willing to sit in front of a TV and watch a 58-year-old Mike Tyson fight a 27-year-old, the sport of boxing is dying. That right there, to me, should have been an eye opener to all you fighters, boxers that don't want to get in the ring and fight. For all y'all that's so much worrying about the bag and all this, and I'm not going to get in here and fight this guy, I'm not going to get in here and do this and do that. Don't be mad at Jake Paul. Don't be mad at Jake Paul. Y'all need to get in the ring and fight. The sport is dying. Anytime you have 60 million people that's willing to sit in front of their TV to watch that, because y'all won't fight, come on, man. Come on, man. Hey, like I said, Jake Paul, if it's paying and people willing to sit and watch it, keep doing it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. He getting his money. You can't be mad at him about that. Y'all got to get in the ring and fight. And then people wouldn't be interested in watching BS like that. It was terrible. It was terrible. The fight was canceled earlier in the year due to Mike having health issues. So I'm going to read some of Mike quotes, basically him breaking down what happened when the reason why the fight was postponed the way it was. So Mike Tyson said he's grateful after the fight against Jake Paul. He said this is one of those situations when you lost but still won. Mike Tyson shared new details about the health complications that led to the delay of his fight versus Paul. Tyson shared he almost died in June, had 8 blood transfusions, lost half his blood and 25 pounds in the hospital, and had to fight to get healthy enough to fight. Like I said, Mike shouldn't have never been in there. But he ended up getting in there. You got your bag. Don't do that shit no more, Mike. You know what I'm saying? Like, let it go. Smoke your weed. Do your cannabis thing. Do your podcast thing. Don't get in the ring no more. I don't feel like this was something that tarnished Mike's legacy. I just didn't like how they did Mike on there. I mean, I wasn't too big of a fan of the butt cheek showing thing and all that stuff. Mike is a legend. I wasn't too big of a fan of that. I didn't like the way that they kind of tried to portray him, or like I felt like humiliate him. But at the end of the day, this is why you need certain groups of people around you, because even though Mike said, that he was okay with taking a fight, Mike should have never been in that ring, and everybody knew it. Everybody knew Mike shouldn't have been in there. But you can't be mad at Jake Paul for making his money. This right here should have been an eye-opener to all you boxers out there that don't want to get in the ring and fight, but then want to turn around and complain about Jake Paul getting his money the way he getting it. You can't complain. Get in the ring and fight, and people ain't gonna want to sit there, ain't gonna want to sit down and watch no Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. Come on, man. So that's my thoughts on there. Mike shouldn't have. That's my thoughts on the fight. Mike shouldn't have been in there. Mike, don't do that shit no more. Jake Paul, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Keep making your money the way you make it. And for all you fighters, get in the ring and fight. Because the sport is dying, and now you got me. You know what I'm saying? We resorting to Jake to shit like this because y'all don't want to get in the ring and fight. But I did watch UFC. I think it was 309. I'm getting, for all my UFC fans, I'm getting my UFC bag together. It will be talked about on this podcast. I just don't know too much about it. But I did watch 309, the pay-per-view. Shout out to John Jones. I seen that. It was a great card. I like what I seen, but I'm starting to get more into UFC. So once I get into it and get comfortable enough, then that's when I'll talk about it a little bit more. But as far as the boxing scene go, yeah, it's dying. You guys got to get in the ring and fight, bro. At this point, we tired of, everybody trying to chase the bag and nobody don't want to lose their undefeated record and all this and all that. Man, Floyd did that already. Let Floyd have that. You know what I'm saying? Y'all need to get in this. Y'all need to get in that ring and rumble. If y'all as good as y'all say, get in the ring and rumble. Moving on, last but not least, these are my Week 12 predictions for the NFL. Last week was my best week yet. I'm so pissed off at the Falcons, the 49ers, and who else? The Falcons, 49ers. Real quick, let me find this because I got a bone. So I'm upset with the Falcons, the 49ers, and the Chiefs. All three of y'all broke it. Y'all messed up I was perfect. I got all my 1 o'clock joints right, and all the 4 o'clocks basically screwed me over. So I was 11-3 last week. Let me reiterate this to y'all. Y'all know how I go. This is my picks. This is what I believe. So if you choose to bet on this or put this on any of your parlays or anything like that, that's on you. Don't turn around and try to blame me for nothing. But these are my picks for Week 12. So I went Steelers over Browns on Thursday night. This right here is going to kill me to say it, and I pray that I'm wrong on this. If my Cowboys lose every single game after this, just manage to beat the Commanders, please. I don't think they're going to do it, but wishful thinking is something. But I went Commanders over Cowboys, and that kills me to say. I went Bucks over Giants. I went Chiefs over Panthers. I think the Chiefs get their face back this year. I mean, not this year. I think the Chiefs get their face back after a tough loss to Buffalo, and we're not a better opponent to have than the Panthers. I think the Chiefs should beat them pretty easily. I went Lions over Colts. I went Dolphins over Pats. Watch out for the Miami Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins are peaking right now with Tua back in the lineup. And, now they starting to find their groove. The Dolphins can make a push to get into the back end of the playoffs. So watch out for the Miami Dolphins. I've been paying attention. I went Texans over Titans. I went Vikings over Bears. I went Broncos over Raiders. I think Broncos keep that hot streak going. Shout out to Bo Nix. I just, just had a segment about Bo Nix. I went Packers over 49ers. This is going to be a real good game, and I'm going to make sure I tune into this. I went Seahawks over Cardinals. I'm just not sold on the Cardinals. Don't get me wrong. I see Kyler Murray been having some great games. People been mentioning him as far as maybe a sneaky MVP. It's just with the Cardinals, they too wishy-washy. The Cardinals is like they win games they supposed to lose, and they lose games they supposed to win. They're really weird to me. I went Seattle, and I believe if Seattle win, they may be the number 1 seed in that division. Geno pulled one out the hat last week and ended up beating the 49ers in the last seconds. I went Seahawks over Cardinals. I think they carry that momentum and beat the Cardinals into this upcoming week. I went Eagles over Rams, and this is gonna be a hell of a game on Monday night. But I went Ravens over Chargers. I think the Ravens get their face back this week after losing to the Steelers. I picked the Steelers to win, but I think the Ravens shake back. The Chargers have been very under the radar, but the Chargers have been very good this year. Shout out to John Harbaugh. You know what I'm saying? He got them boys looking real good. I be getting the name confused, John and Jim, but I think it's John Harbaugh though. But He got them boys looking good this year. The Chargers been flying under the radar. They got some pretty impressive wins under their belt. They just beat the Bengals this past Sunday night. And you know what I'm saying? The Bengals they've been underwhelming this year, but the Chargers been solid. But I went Ravens over Chargers on Monday night. I think Ravens shake back and get their face back. So that's it for this week's episode of the Chatting with Cheeze podcast. Y'all already know the motto: no gimmicks, only the real. Remember what I said. I need y'all to smash that subscribe button. We are on our way to 200 subscribers. I also need y'all to like and share the content when it's posted up. And y'all already know I appreciate y'all.